So let me introduce you to Mihai Bilauca. He's the CIO of Limerick City Council. Limerick is the third largest city in Ireland, and I would say you are being the leaders of the open source adoption in the Irish local government. So they have been playing around with Zentyal for the last 2 years, and they have made a migration of all their servers from Windows-based servers to Linux-based with Zentyal. So they're going to explain us their experience. I hope you are merciful. Okay, they're all yours.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Well, I would like to thank Ignacio for inviting us today here. We would have come anyway because we would like to be part of the community and to be here today. Together with my colleague Patricia, we'll be presenting how Zentyal helped us to achieve one of our key strategic objectives, the objective to move towards open source in order to achieve open standards and to become more efficient at what we are doing. So, Limerick, by the way, Limerick is in Ireland for people that may have not know where Limerick is, and we are somewhere in the Midwest. More information about Limerick can be found on limerick.ie. And just to give you a bit of a background of the ICT section or the ICT background in Limerick City Council, we are a relatively medium organization, small to medium organization. We have about 450 desktops in six main sites with 9 key business areas such as roads, water, planning, environment, finance, social housing. A lot of services, as you can probably see, a lot of public services. As Ignacio mentioned, we are the third largest city in Ireland. The greater Limerick area has about 110,000 citizens. We also have to look after the fire station, one of the 3 emergency control centers in Ireland. That means when you ring 911 or 112, the people that actually take your phone call, there are 3 such centers in Ireland, and we are supporting one of them. We have 3 public libraries, a city gallery, and a museum. We are basically, for the last 10 years, predominantly a Windows network with Active Directory that allows us to control our users, and mostly Microsoft software. We have a team of 4 support officers that are actually supporting both desktop, server, and communication services. What was our problem? Why did we even look at open source? Well, in 2009, following the buyout from the Microsoft Enterprise Agreement, we realized that the licensing costs are very high. In fact, we knew, but actually it was proven that licensing was very high, and we were left with no options to negotiate the contracts, and therefore we had no purchasing power. We just simply could not negotiate, and that was a position that we wanted to change. So this is why in 2009 we embarked in a project where we evaluated open source products, and we thought, okay, what can we realistically do about it? So we said, well, easily we can change from Microsoft Office into OpenOffice, and well, sure, later on we migrated to LibreOffice for reasons everybody probably in this room know why. And we said, okay, fine, we need to now change our email because, you know, probably Outlook is part of the Office suite, and even if you change Word for Writer and Excel for Calc and so on, you are still left with Outlook, which basically still means a Office license. And we needed a mail solution that was at least as good as what Outlook was giving us. That means calendaring, contacts, tasks, and sure email, you know. So we were looking at various options available at the market at that time, and eBox came in our paths, and which is now Zentyal. And okay, we said this is something that may work for us. And we embarked in a migration plan. I'm going to leave Patricia later on to describe you the technical steps that we actually had to undertake to do this migration. I said I'll just present a bit the migration process in our case. Of course, we had to identify, first of all, what was our strategic move, why do we want to do this, what was our plan, and we wanted to have purchasing options. We wanted to be in control and in charge of the negotiation process. We wanted to get better at what we are doing. We want to do things that we are doing in a far better way than, and we believe we can do it better with using open source. Maybe one of the, in fact, when you look at every migration process, probably everybody says you need senior management support, you need support from top level. And in our case, what was actually interesting that in our phase deployment, the first people to move was the senior management. And why we needed that? Why we needed the directors level, the city manager level to change? It was very important because that allowed us in the communication process with our staff to get their buy-in. It was very easy for us to say, look, our managers are already using it. Our managers, directors are already using Open Office instead of Microsoft Office, and they can do their business. And it was a way to show leadership into going through the change process, through the burden of having a change process. So very important for us was that we had the full support of our senior management. Obviously, after we explained to our staff and we had public sessions where we were explaining why is it good, why do we want to change something that has worked for us for so many years. And there are a couple of reasons we gave people. First of all, it's not good for anybody to have only one supplier. Nobody likes to have only one mechanic in the city. Nobody wants to have only one supermarket. Having competition, having options helps. We also said to people that we can actually save money, and the money can be used later on for other purposes. And we are all learning a lot more from using other products than only one product. If you use Outlook for a number of years, that's the only product you know. You don't really learn a lot more than that. So therefore, we engaged in a training program with our staff. And of course, we had to train our IT support team. And we tried to coordinate the software replacement with hardware upgrades. That means a new PC comes with new software, and people are all excited getting their new desktop and everything else, and they forgot the fact that there's no Microsoft Office on their desktops. But there is something that's quite good. It looks very similar to Microsoft Office 2003. Even if when we showed them Office 2007, they didn't recognize that product, but they recognized Open Office as being very close to Microsoft Office, whatever they had at the time. And sure, after we started doing the migrations, we had people moved into using Zaragoza and different mail system and LibreOffice. We had to provide continuous support for the new technologies. So I'm now going to pass on to Patricia to explain what was involved from the technical perspective on our migrations into Zentyal technologies.
Hello. My name is Patricia Dwyer, and I am one of the IT support officers in Limerick City Council. So I would be the person that the users phone when they have a problem, and also was involved with the migration process here. Just want to go back a little step to where Mihai spoke with, we put Open Office out there, and now our problem is email. We have to get Outlook off. Next step, new email product. Next step, straight away, authentication problems. We're still a Windows house. We have Active Directory. We have Exchange Server. How do we migrate to a new email product without having to duplicate user accounts? Everyone on a support desk knows this is a nightmare for somebody. 2 user accounts, 2 sets of passwords. It's duplicating the management. So this is what led us to Zentyal, and this is why Zentyal answered a lot of these questions for us. It integrated, I suppose the main thing was we got LDAP. We were able to pull our information from Active Directory out into another product, and this opened a lot of doors for us. So it integrates, we had our new email product Zaragoza on Postfix, and Samba also. And the integration, we have our Zentyal product, we have a master server, Active Directory speaks to that, and then this integrates with the new products we want to put in place. So easily extendable to adapt to existing software. So we had a product called MailMeter, which archived our email. We were able to extend this solution to include that. Because we were a Windows shop, we didn't have the training, we didn't have the Linux background, and this is why this product was so good for us. We have an easy web interface. We could just sort of hit the ground running with it. So we weren't waiting a long time to train ourselves up to use this new product. So our unified web interface was very good, and then also the quick deployment. We were able to get, like I say, hit the ground running and get things out there. And then finally, our extensive support from Zentyal, which allowed us to do this. So once again, the synchronization was, I think, the key point. Zentyal have a tool called the sync tool. So a user changes their password in Windows now. It syncs straight away to the Open LDAP master server, and IT doesn't have to manage that. So this was very useful for us. It can operate independently from Active Directory. So this actually gives us a little resilience as well. It's syncing with it. If we ever had any problems with Active Directory, we have that information now in Open LDAP. And down the road, we have Open LDAP. Maybe we don't need Active Directory anymore. So, like I say, this opened up new possibilities for us. So also, it facilitated the migration process, service by service. The tricky part is you can't go big bang, you can't go overnight. We were a Windows shop, we're still a Windows shop. You can't just turn everything off and start from new. So this allowed us to move our mail in a phased, slow process. We can now look at file and print as well, a proxy server, and many more possibilities are opening. So I just want to run through a little bit of sort of the problems we had to look at when we were going with the mail migration. We did a little bit of testing and we used a different domain name, as these are only test email accounts, but we want to go live with this. So we had to have 2 email systems running side by side and talking to each other. The same domain name we need to keep. Everyone's address was going to be the same. It was, so-and-so at limerickcity.ie. So our solution, Zentyal here, was the master-slave servers and the AD sync tool. So just want to very quickly look at sort of what we do when we want to migrate a bunch of users. We've picked, say, department by department, and we will migrate them slowly. So we have our Open LDAP master server for user authentication. Zaragoza was the mail solution, and that is a slave server to the master LDAP. The Zentyal sync tool is sitting on our domain controller with Active Directory. And this allows the sync, as I was saying, with the password, the user and group memberships, all that sort of maintenance that we do on a day-to-day basis. Our mail server had postfix now relaying our mail for both Exchange and Zaragoza. So we would have some users using the new product, some users the old. Postfix is sitting in front, and that relays and decides where the mail goes. When we took a user from Exchange, we had to still allow for the fact that the global address list in Exchange needs to see these users. So our solution to that was to create a contact. So those users, they still have the same address, but they appear in Exchange now as a contact. The tools we use then, any migration of email, what you have to do, you have a tool to pull the email out, and then you need a tool to push the email in. So Xmerge is a tool that Microsoft Exchange use for batch export. So it pulls out everything in PST format. So that's mail, contacts, everything. We have all these in PST format, and then we use the Zarafa migration tool to batch import the PST files into Zarafa. Also can be used to export. And then once again, the mention of MailMeter, which is a product we had for archiving our mails. We got it to integrate with the new solution, and all our emails are archived for legal purposes. So it was an exciting project for us. We have just started on this journey. Where are we now? We have moved most of our users, 80% at this point, to Zarafa. So 80% of our users are using mail. That looks very similar to a product they used before, but how it's operating in the background is very different. We plan to shut down our Microsoft Exchange server before the end of this year, before 2011. So other things we're planning to do is Samba. We have actually started looking at Samba already, and we have moved file and print for 4 business units to Samba. Our users don't even know this, don't notice anything. Their data is available to them, as it always was. The ACLs, so file and print, you're looking at permissions, access to data and everything. The ACLs integrate with the Windows permissions for us. And once again, integrates with the Open LDAP for file and print. Ongoing works on printer sharing. So it's a kind of a brief description on our journey so far with open source products. Any questions? For mail, you mean? Yeah. The question is what client we're using for mail. We're using web-based, so we've. Mm-hmm.
Well,
I won't take that. You say the question.
The question was whether do we intend to move towards Ubuntu desktop or other desktops. Yes, we do. But we have to approach it in a slow way. Too much change coming at the same time into our organization will increase the chance of, I like to say this, if you go in a bing bang approach, you are going to have 2 bing bangs. One bing bang in and bing bang out. And that's what we're trying to avoid. So this is why we try to change what people see first. We try to change Office. We try to move stuff into mail goes into the browser. Our applications will be moved into the browser, and that will actually make the transition to Ubuntu desktop or a different desktop, who knows what may be, much easier. So that's the plan. Choosing to go for a web-based mail client only was a key to our strategy. We think that it makes life a lot easier for everybody. A lot more applications move in the cloud anyways. So we have very few requirements for offline access to our mail anyway. So we decided to go for a web-based mail client. It will allow us to swap the mail server if we need to from Zarafa to something else that may come down in the market very easily to implement. No client, less pain to deploy that. You're okay, you're okay. Well, look at my English, you know.
We have of the Zaragoza Council, okay, we speak. Because, Microsoft is in Ireland, no?
Yes.
How is possible that one council as Limerick don't have Microsoft Office and Microsoft System Operation in your desktop if Microsoft is in Ireland?
Well, I'm going to leave this for politicians to solve. Well, yeah, probably I should have said the question was how come we are allowed as a public council to not to have Microsoft Office products on our desktops, given the fact that Microsoft has a base in Ireland, and how is that being solved? And my answer was we're going to leave this to politicians, you know. In fact, we're not going to leave it to politicians. Microsoft need to prove that whatever solutions they bring, the total cost of ownership is better than if we go for an open source product. They need to open their standards, and as long as they have a truly open standard in the file document exchange, as long as the total cost of ownership of acquiring Microsoft products is better than whatever other solution may be in the market, open or not open, it all comes down to fulfilling our needs, our requirements. We want to be free to choose. We want to be free to exchange information. We don't want our public to be enforced in buying a certain product in order for them to have access to government services. And this is our approach to the project we have actually engaged in. Sorry, that gentleman in the back.
How did you approach the migration of the Office regarding the Microsoft macros, Visual Basic applications?
Well, in our organization, we try to avoid bespoke applications where that rely on VBS or macros. Exception being probably the finance department, which needs to exchange probably spreadsheets with the Department of Finance or Ministry for Finance. And that's something we can't do at the moment, reprogram the scripts for that. I think in Spain you do a lot better, because I understand from yesterday that you have a law that says government needs to communicate in an open standard. And that changes perspective a bit on how things are done. That's very good. Yes, we didn't tackle the problem yet.
Regarding the new hardware you have to install in the desktop, did you get any agreement to buy the hardware with your Linux installation? Already the hardware, you have to install it by yourself.
No, the hardware was happening anyway. It was just, you know, a refresh of hardware that we were doing. So it's still Windows. Our PCs went out with still Windows. Still Windows, yeah. But what's new is now you have LibreOffice and you have Zaragoza for your mail client. So it was just introduced to the users that way, yeah. Sorry, this gentleman here.
What has been user experience before, while, and after migration? What do you think the users?
Could you repeat the question?
Yes.
Yeah.
What has been user experience before, while, and after migration?
Okay, yeah.
And what do you think?
The question is what is the user experience, and what before, after, and during the migration? I think it's been very positive, and a large part of that was how we prepared them for it. As we mentioned, we introduced it with a hardware refresh. We were on Office 2003 anyway. There was, you know, the normal way is to go to Office 2007. A lot of users were asking already, where is Office 2007? We need to open DocX. So we gave them OpenOffice, that opens DocX. We gave them Mozilla Firefox. You know, we had Internet Explorer. A lot of applications we had in the browser needed Internet Explorer, and still does, but now we've introduced Firefox. So they look at Zaragoza on Firefox. And there was new things for users to learn, but I think it was positive. You know, they took it. They're learning new things now. They like the mail. It's a new thing. I can get mail at home now. This was a new thing for people. We didn't give mail at home to people. And just the portability of it is very positive. Yeah.
If I can just add something to this. We have seen a kind of an improvement over a short period of time. Obviously, we give the users the options of, we show them how Office 2007 looks like and how different it was compared to Office 2003, and then we show them LibreOffice, and then they realize, hold on a second, this is much easier for me to use. Second of all, they realized there are added features in OpenOffice or in LibreOffice. They can export to PDF, which was impossible to do in Office 2003 anyway. Also, in the migration process of the mail, we kind of expect that in the first week, people will be very negative about it. I hate it. In the second week, I kind of expect people to say, okay, I'll put up with it. In the third week, we are expecting people to say nothing. And in the fourth week, when they realize that actually an open source solution can do better for them than what they had before, we see a lot of people saying, we like this, because they can do a lot more. You can restore deleted items, you can have access remotely at your email without necessarily going through a very complicated process. You have access to your reply to emails. No matter what computer you use, you can swap computers. It's a lot better. So people start believing now that open source, even though it's free, it comes with, that's what people know about it, it comes free. It doesn't mean it's actually worse. It means actually people realize it's a lot better. So that's the experience.
I agree with that completely. The question is, in my country, what do the schools and the libraries use? And the basic computer education is Windows, it's Microsoft Office, and that's what people know and expect and come to expect. And everything else is not as good. Yeah. It's user perception. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. So part of the battle is to show people there is a new way. And use it. It's not bad, you know. Yeah.
We also intend to change the PCs that are available for usage by the public in our libraries. At least initially, in a phased approach, we intend to introduce a couple of Linux desktops and try to bring the community with us. Every time I make a presentation, I won't switch on a Windows machine. Again, it's just to try to send the message that we are trying to build the community, that we, as the local authority of Limerick City, we try to build that community not only at the social level, but also in ICT. Okay? There's a gentleman at the back.
Last question? Yeah. Yeah. Last question then. Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't have that kind of problems, so you could, just erase the Windows from the server.
Yeah.
You still have the support for the hardware, right?
Correct. Yes. The question is does Windows come with our hardware necessarily? Not really. It doesn't. We buy our hardware and we put what we want on it. That's been our experience. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you.
Just before we close down, I just have 1 minute, please allow me. I would like to thank just a couple of acknowledgements. I'd like to thank Ignacio for organizing the meeting with the city of Zaragoza here. Thank you, Eduardo, for showing us your experience here, and thank Juan for translating yesterday for us. And I presume you are the Jesus. Excellent. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thank you for organizing this. Thanks to Heidi for organizing our trip here. And I would like especially to thank Jorge. He worked with us very many hours and late nights until the job was done. And I appreciate all your efforts, Jorge. And ultimately, I would like to thank our city manager, Tomaki, which is here today, just to show us the support that we actually get from our senior management. And thank you, everybody.